Hello and welcome. We are watching Agronomy and Economy. Today is July 5th, 2016. I am Ryan Vito, an NDSU Area Extension Specialist in Cropping Systems.
And I'm Levi Helmuth, an instructor with the North Dakota Farm Business Management Program, employee of BSC.
And today we have Jon Stika with us.
Right.
And we're going to talk a bit about some of his past and some of the stuff he's doing right now. He's actually a temporary jack of all trades, I guess, here at the Dickinson Research Extension Center. Do some soil health stuff, some agronomy stuff, some work with GIS, and then some
horticulture.
Website. And horticulture.
Yeah.
And, you're a busy man too. I guess you wrote a book recently too?
Yeah, I just published this book, Soil Owner's Manual, which is a compilation of things that I've been working on for 20 years, and it's just kind of an introduction to soil health for people, trying to keep it approachable, yet cover it so everybody can get
Kind
a
of
good understanding of it.
A layman's guide for the average producer.
Right. Not too technical, correct.
And that's good for anyone from a gardener to a producer.
Yep, you bet.
Okay. Alright, well I guess let's get started on a bit of your educational background. So you're from Wisconsin originally, right?
Yes.
So you went to school over there?
Went to school there at University of Wisconsin at Stevens Point. Got a degree there, a bachelor's degree in soil science. Just prior to that, I got a degree in associate degree in chemistry, which helped a lot with the chemistry classes in college.
Yeah.
But and since then, a certification in geographic information science from University of North Dakota.
Okay. All right. And after that, you went to the NRCS, correct?
Right. I worked for them for 30 years in various capacities as soil conservationist, district conservationist, area agronomist, area resource soil scientist. Did a lot of work with soil health teaching around the country.
And this isn't your first YouTube video, is it?
I think it is.
Is it? So you did some of the soil health videos though with NRCS, right?
Right. Worked with folks out of South Carolina,
Okay.
Buzz Clute, and he did a series of soil health in a minute, and since then he's done quite a bit of other ones.
Okay. All right. So I guess.
So that was kind of your education and then post-education. Here at the DREC, kind of it says here you worked with the oil development in western North Dakota, and is that that's where the GIS stuff kind of comes in a little bit?
Right, that was probably my first big project, working with Felix Fernando, who's now at Dayton University in Ohio. And I digitized a lot of oil well sites so we could get a handle on how many acres of land are being converted by oil activity.
I mean, that's a pretty big thing. I know coming from eastern Montana that out there, it wasn't heavily documented. I mean, even the guys that were out in the oil patch would get lost and would have to ask for directions as far as how to get around so that was, I don't know, that's just something really neat, I think, that way to get that. Also, you've done some DREC website development, so for our avid viewers, John's gracious enough to put our YouTube up there on our Agronomy and Economy videos up on the DREC website. You kind of brought that forward quite a bit too.
Yeah, they kind of handed me, well, Felix had been working on the website, so he kind of handed that off to me. So I've been updating it and including Agronomy and Economy and Beef Talk and all the other things that need to be added or updated on the website regularly.
So moving forward, what do you want to work on, or what do you have lined up for projects?
I'm kind of wrapping up one project, the soil health demonstration up by the Manning Ranch, getting some final data on that, and going to issue a kind of a final report of what we learned from it, because it wasn't a research study, it was just a demonstration. Working here with all the organic research on the plots, the vegetables, strawberries, agronomic crops, those kind of things. We also, horticulture, got the hops here that I've been collecting some data on, and those are just a demonstration, although there are some replicates out there. So a lot of different things, and we've been doing some teaching with soil health this spring with students. I think we taught 300 some students.
Yeah. And a 4-H group.
Right,
Yeah.
and then we'll be at Barley Day
Yeah.
later this week, where I'll be talking about grain to glass.
Yep.
How to take barley and malt it and then make it into beer.
And use those hops that,
Yeah,
that grow out
right,
here, right?
Yeah,
Right.
putting some practical application for some of those demonstrations that you're doing. So, yeah, you kind of end up, I mean, that's soil health, just you end up encompassing a lot of different areas then.
Right, and there's been, like Ryan mentioned, there's been a lot of interest from gardeners. I've worked with farmers for a lot of years, but the last few years I worked with NRCS. There was a lot of interest with gardeners and soil health, and I worked with Tom Kalb of NDSU, and we did some workshops, and very well attended, and a lot of interest in people wanting to learn how to improve their soil health in their garden.
So speaking of soil health with cover crops and having this kind of live system in the soil, I know you mentioned something about having a cow above ground and a cow below ground. Could you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Right, if we could round up all of the organisms that live in a healthy soil and run them across a scale like we would cattle, they would weigh about as much as 2 cows on every acre of land. So they're very small, there's a lot of them, but they run most of what happens in the soil. And that's the basis for soil health, is looking at it as a biological system. It's alive.
Yeah. I guess with all your years working with soil health and agronomy, I guess, is there one kind of overall thing that you kind of learned over the years, or?
Just that probably the biggest issue that folks need to deal with when they're learning about soil health is to change their own thinking.
Yeah.
You know, we've been tilling the soil as a species for 7,000 years, and it's very difficult for us to look at the soil as a biological system rather than just a medium that we manipulate.
Right.
But once we understand that and manage it that way, the soil provides all these benefits, can reduce a lot of our input costs.
Yeah, that's for sure. I guess, what would you say your greatest career accomplishment is?
Probably teaching across the country. We've done a lot of workshops for farmers from Alaska to Maine to North Carolina to California, and taught thousands of producers, and as well as NRCS employees that then support what those farmers are trying to do.
Right.
And it's getting to be a pretty big movement now. There's a lot of producers that are understanding and applying these things, and reducing input costs, reducing environmental degradation, you know, not just restoring their soil, but restoring nutrient cycling, water cycling, all those things.
Well, and I want to touch on that just real quick with the soil. You mentioned cutting inputs, but it's kind of a 2-for-1, twofold increase, because you're not only cutting the inputs, but if you're my understanding is, I'm more of the economy side, not the agronomy
Right.
side, but my understanding is if you properly manage that, your soil, manage it like an ecosystem and have those nutrients and have a healthy soil ecosystem, you can reduce your inputs, but your outputs will still be greater. You actually see a potential increase for yield on your pasture ground and some of your crop side of things as well, because you have the healthy soil horizon.
Right, and especially in this part of the world, probably the biggest issue is water,
Yeah.
is moisture management. And the first thing we'll see here when we improve soil health is improved water infiltration and storage, so that water isn't running off. And if we can store that water here and then use it, then that's a big bonus in the production side.
Oh, definitely.
But the nutrient cycling side also goes with that. Dave Franz has worked with the 50-pound nitrogen credit on wheat. You know, there's an economic side to it, reducing that input cost while we're increasing our ability to manage moisture. You get the double effect when you start to restore soil function.
Yeah, that soil demonstration that used for the kids that came by a couple weeks ago. I mean, that demonstration is good for anyone from 5 to 50, you know, it's...
Right, and in all the teaching that we've done, we always start with those demonstrations to get people to begin to understand what the impact of biology is on the ability of the soil to function.
That tilled soil, all the topsoil is coming off with the heavy rain, where with the no-till, it was just moving down and actually held there.
Right.
So. All right. So I guess what's this year's outlook for the things that you're doing here?
I'm going to, like I said, finish up on that study up north, and we're collecting a lot of data on all of the organic work, which includes some soil biology, and basically seeing what more can be developed on the website, and then any opportunities, you know, that I have to teach people.
Right.
Take advantage of those.
All right. Well, if you're watching this before Thursday, the Barley Field Day will be in Belfield on July 7th at 1 p.m. You can find more information on their website. And check out Jon's book, Soil Owner's Manual. You can find it on Amazon, correct?
Correct.
So, I think that's all we have for you today. Have a good one.
Thanks for stopping by.